You know what I love about Arknights Enfield? Booba. No, no, wait, I meant to say engineering. Or, like product supply lines and stuff like that. Well, that's exactly what Enfield has in store for us. Introducing the AIC, short for the Automated Industrial Complex. Tell me, have you ever played an anime gacha game and thought to yourself, I could be an engineer today? Well, that's exactly what this is. And today, I will be teaching you everything you need to know to have a good time with the AIC on day one. Because trust me, there is a learning curve. But I promise this video is going to give you the tools to breeze through this gameplay so that you can get a head start for one of the most important systems in Enfield. Okay, let's build a factory. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, I think it's best to first talk about what the purpose of the whole AIC is. It's going to be fundamentally about three things: automating a lot of the farming in the game so that you can focus on the sweet combat, giving quality of life features like breezing through zip lines or securing outposts that generate resources, and ultimately it's there to allow the freedom of expression so that your world is unique to you, which for me personally gives me a sense of accomplishment when things fit together. Playing Endfield without the AIC system is sort of like playing Genshin without farming artifacts. It's just brutal. So here's where you should start. The first thing I would recommend is going through the tutorials. Just do the tutorial first. Great advice, Luna. Why didn't I think of that sooner? I promise there's a reason why I'm mentioning this first. Not only are the tutorials very thorough in Endfield, but when you complete them, you're given a blueprint that you can only obtain through these tutorials. This will save you a ton of time when you need to rebuild certain common materials, as it provides a template to build from. But look, I get it. If you're anything like me, sitting through over an hour of tutorials is not really your cup of tea. So the majority of this video is going to go over my important footnotes, as well as how to make the most of the AIC. Please note that many of the structures shown throughout this video have to first be unlocked through the AIC plan menu in the settings. Upgrades cost basic AIC index, which you obtain from collecting inflatable tube men out in the open world. They're also marked on the minimap with this icon. But starting off with the basics of the AIC, structures are separated by their category, so you'll have logistics, resourcing, power, and a number of other categories. Most of the time, you're going to be focused on the production and depot access categories when it comes to building a supply chain for an item. Production buildings will take certain input materials and output a different processed item based on a recipe. You can view all the recipes by going into a production facility and clicking the search button to view all available formulas. From there, you can click on a source material to find additional details, and also find another search button that will once again show all the available formulas. But this time, the formulas would be those associated with that particular material. If we want to change the input material on a production building, then we would need to change the input source, or the previous facility's output source, to match the new recipe. It might also require you to drag and drop the new material from the depot or backpack as the new source for it to register. But aside from that, production facilities are relatively straightforward. Depot access structures, on the other hand, their main purpose is to increase how convenient it is to source and store materials for your production buildings by providing extra entry and exit points to your item stash. So do build your bases with these structures in mind, because it'll save you a lot of organizational headaches down the road. But then there's logistics, and these basically give your production lines more flexibility, such as allowing two production lines to overlap. I've found that they generally place themselves automatically, so you really only need to worry about them when a production line is being altered. By the way, if you make a mistake at any point during your construction process, you can simply stash away the facilities and items that you don't need. There's no cost in doing so, and Endfield lets you redeploy any structures to your heart's content. So there's no concern with experimentation. Another concept I wanted to touch on in Endfield's AIC is the power grid. Most structures in Endfield will require power, which is supplied primarily by electric pylons, at least initially. Without power, everything just shuts down. Electric pylons don't have their own energy source though, so they must be connected to a relay tower that has power, an automation core, or it would need to be present in one of your AIC areas to provide power to surrounding structures. When it comes to where power is actually sourced from, look no further than the automation cores. Each AIC area has its own core, and anytime you need power outside of an AIC area, you will have to connect transmission lines across relay towers until you reach your destination, and then you would have to build electric pylons in that location to actually supply the power. There is an upgrade that allows relay towers to create its own power grid though, but that's not anything too crazy because you'll still need to connect it back to an automation core. The other thing to note about power is power consumption. As you build more structures in your AIC, you will consume more power, and eventually you're going to hit the cap on your power grid. If you exceed this amount, everything gets shut down after energy reserves run out, and if you're not prepared, you would have to stash away enough structures to be within the limit again. You can increase this power limit by building thermal banks and putting batteries in them, so please keep this limitation in mind, especially when you're building a number of critical production lines, as remembering what you temporarily took out can be a major turnoff. As for AIC areas, expect to start off with limited real estate, like the game starts you off with one area and it's expandable, but it's costly early on, and there's only a few additional areas that can be unlocked through exploration and finding outposts. Outposts are basically additional bases, except they're in dangerous territory and they have their own inhabitants. When you help successfully defend these locations, you will be able to trade with the locals and increase your regional development level, which gives you additional rewards. This is where the turret defense structures come into play, and it's its own mini-game of sorts, so I won't be covering the specifics of it in this video, but let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in. In most cases though, optimizing your time with the AIC is going to involve going through the tutorials. But before that, the first thing I would do is collect all the inflatable tube men available in the open world. There's so many quality of life features that upgrades will unlock, including zip lines, which help you traverse faster throughout the open world, and of course, the conveyor belt logistics that make production lines significantly easier to navigate. These upgrades pay for themselves, as the earlier you unlock them, the faster and easier everything is going to feel for anything AIC. Utilizing the top view will also be ideal for most players, as it gives you a more suited view and a better control scheme for longer and more intentional construction sessions. Another concept that can optimize your AIC layout is knowing where the slowest part of your production line is. You can always optimize construction lines if a building takes less time and resources to build something than another facility takes to consume it. But that's everything I wanted to cover in this video, going over everything you need to know with Enfield's AIC. Feel free to let me know any of your thoughts in the comments down below, and support me by leaving a like and subscribing. I will continue to cover Arknights Enfield, so thank you for all your support, and I'll see you in the next one.